Go Knights go! 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 Hello Knight fans, and welcome to another edition of Knights This Week with your host and super fan, Jason Banks, coming at you here. Another edition of Knights This Week, playoff edition. So we're still in the playoffs. And you might recall last week where I left you off, the Knights were not in a good situation. The Knights were trailing the WINDSOR Spitfires 3-1 in the best-of-7 first-round series. So, not exactly a good spot to be, but, wow. I'm going to tell you the story of how the rest of this series went. So that's going to be Knights This Week here on this show. So, we shall get to that. And let's get to the rest of that series. We'll also, before the show's over, we'll give you a summary of where the other series ended up being. And our second round matchups now. So we're in the second round of the Ontario Hockey League playoffs. So, let us get to the rest of the Knights Spitfire series. 4th place team, 5th place team in the conference, and not much give between the two teams, and this series will actually prove that in the end. Now, I must admit, I also got to put an apology out there maybe, because maybe I was a little hard on our London Knights. I gotta remember always never to count our London Knights out. So that's just a sneak peek for you. So never count the Knights out. So let's see what happens here as we pick up at Game 5 of this series. Now, for this Knights this week, not going to do the videos. The videos didn't work out too great, I didn't find last week. They were kind of behind time. They weren't in sync. I got an older computer and it operates slowly, just like older people might. But anyway, what I'm going to do is give you the kind of summaries of our local paper, the London Free Press. That's how I'm going to roll with this week, okay? But I am going to do what I did last time, and that is this. So here we go. Game 5. At home, this was a 5th game at home at Budweiser Gardens between the Knights and the Spitfires. And I'm going to bring this to you here right from the London Free Press. Okay. London Knights keep hopes alive. Not yet, Windsor. The defending Memorial Cup champs live on until at least Game 6 at the WFCU Center in Windsor. They still own the throne for now. Tyler Parsons, London's MVP this year. You could argue he was the MVP last year as well. Saved the Knights season with an array of dazzling and acrobatic stops, especially when his team was shorthanded to backstop a 2-1 Game 5 victory before 9,036 Friday at Budweiser Gardens. So there you have it. The London Knights win Game 5 by a slight score of 2-1. So a 2-1 margin for your London Knights in Game 5. That means the Knights have only failed to play into April once under the Hunter regime in the past 17 seasons. That was in 2008 when Pat Maroon's led London Knights fouled to Drew Doughty and the Guelph Storm in 5 games. They have lost in the first round 2 other times during this same stretch. 2011 against Owen Sound. That's when Owen Sound won the OHL. 2001 versus Erie. Erie had a very good team in 2001, and the London Knights were not quite at their level that they were at yet. No matter what the year or circumstances, you need a hero or two to win a playoff series. That was the story in 2009 when the Knights dropped the legendary all-overtime 5-game Western Conference Final to the eventual OHL and Memorial Cup champ Spitfires. So, let's just go here. The Knights have won a lot of first periods, especially on home ice this past week, but that clearly hasn't been enough. London GM Rob Simpson says, I think this has been a good series. Obviously, it's a little frustrating that we're down. At times, it's been a bounce here or there, or a puck goes off a shin pad, and either way. The series could be in our favor or it could be 4-0. It's been that tight where every game could have gone either way. And Rob Simpson is bang on the money with that statement because the first game went to overtime. Second game was really a one-go game for the Knights with 2 empty nets added. Third game was a 2-go win for Windsor. Fourth game went to overtime, Windsor. This game a 1-go game. So Rob Simpson's absolutely right. So let's go down here. You got to find pucks around the net more. You got to screen and tip. You've got to find different ways to score other than off the rush or completely clean shot you hope to get. They did exactly that on their opening goal Friday. Robert Thomas stood in front of the net, banged home a rebound off an Evan Bouchard blast. The Knights drew the game's first 2 power plays, which is important after enjoying just 1 power play in Game 4 at WFCU Center. So the London Knights win Game 5 in front of a sellout crowd of Budweiser Gardens. Robert Thomas. And here we go. Robert Thomas and Mitchell Stevens with the goal for your London Knights. And Jeremy Bracco countering for Windsor. And Mitchell Stevens, wow, what a great pickup Mitchell Stevens has been. You are playing great, kid. His 3rd goal of the series, and he's everywhere. He gets big goals. This is a winning goal. You got a winning goal the other time, a tying goal the other time. Mitchell Stevens has had a great series. Let's go to the 3 stars of this game. So I told you the goal scorers. Thomas, Stevens for London, Bracco for Windsor. 3 stars of this game, not much of a surprise. Two of them goaltenders. Michael DiPietro for the Spitfires was the 3rd star. He held his ground. Robert Thomas, 2nd star for the London Knights. He got it started. And Tyler Parsons, yes. What can you say about Parsons? Does anything this kid do surprise you? He saved a Knight season. Excuse me. Especially, excuse me again, especially late in that 3rd period when Windsor was putting on the pressure. Shots on net in this game were very close to 29-26 in favor of the London Knights as they stay alive and force this series to a 6th game at the WFCU Center. Now, you might think this was a great win for the London Knights, but Game 6 was going to be tough because London has not won at the WFCU Center all year. They lost 3 regular season games, lost twice in the playoffs so far. So, building they have not won in, and this is a must-win game for the London Knights in Game 6 to keep their season alive and their hopes of staying champions alive. So, let's go to Game 6 here at the WFCU Center and see what happens in this game at the WFCU Center in Windsor. And bear with me for a second. I'm just going to... So here you go. I'm doing what I did last week. Game 6. Game 6 on a Sunday afternoon at the WFCU Center in Windsor. And again, this is from the Free Press. Tyler Parsons has enjoyed a full junior hockey experience. He won a Memorial Cup in overtime. He earned a World Junior Gold by beating Canada in a shootout at Montreal. He got to celebrate big triumphs with teammates like Mitch Marner and Max Domi, and knows what it's like to try to stop Connor McDavid. That was a couple of years ago in the playoffs. Connor McDavid, of course, with the Erie Otters. However, a do-or-die Game 7 in the playoffs? Nope. This will be brand new terrain for Tyler Parsons. Pretty cool, the Knights goaltender said after the London Knights go into Windsor and defeat the Windsor Spitfires 5-3 in Game 6 at the WFCU Center. And so the Knights, congratulations to the London Knights as they win Game 6 of this series, get their first win in Windsor all season long. Tyler Parsons adds, "We still hold that title as defending champions. I don't want to end it like this. We definitely don't want it to end here. We've got to make it out of the first round and go from there." Tyler Parsons, a great, classy kid. So they thrashed their way out of the Spitfires' spiderweb twice now. They saved their season again, something that last year's Knights didn't have to do once into the Memorial Cup final in Red Deer. Captain J.J. Pickenidge of your London Knights says this: "We got down and just kept fighting. They did it by winning in Windsor for the first time in 6 visits this season. They did it with another perfect penalty kill, so incredibly rare on the road this year." And if you have looked at the stats, you would see that they have not done good on penalty kills on the road. And they capped it, amazingly enough, by scoring 3 times in the third period in Windsor's rink. Do you know how many third period goals London had in its previous 5 Rose City trips? None. So, London coach Dale Hunter will add this on this game: "Through the years, it's been tough to win here. Windsor is a good team, but we dug deep for a big win. They battle, and that's what playoffs is all about. They played hard to come back." As usual, it wasn't decided until the final minute, like a lot of the games in this series. The Knights were up by 3 in the third period, looked like they were free, away to the races. Then Jeremiah Addison of the Windsor Spitfires remembered how much difficulty London is having trying to contain him. So, Jeremiah Addison, the London Knights are up 4-1 going into the third period, and Jeremiah Addison gets 2 goals before even the halfway mark of the third period to make it a 4-3 game. He had another goal previously in the game in the first period. Hat trick for Jeremiah Addison. But in the third period, with 90 seconds left, Parsons stoned big Logan Brown on the doorstep to deny Windsor the equalizer. Parsons says, "I read the play coming from behind the net. I saw they scored the third goal there, being up 1 that would destroy their whole momentum moving forward with a stop. So I knew I had to make that save and stuck my pad out there and hoped for the best." The London Knights are still the champs, and they finally win a game on the ice where the next Memorial Cup will be held. But Tuesday, and for the first time all year, it will start to feel like the Knights have a shot at getting back to that stage. Okay, so let me go through the goal summaries here. This is Game 6. So, don't have to say much on Windsor's front. Jeremiah Addison got all 3 goals for the Windsor Spitfires. That's 5 that he has in the playoffs now. Keep in mind, he was suspended for Games 3 and 4. So, pretty darn good round for Jeremiah Addison. Gets all goals. Now for the London Knights, the usual suspects chipping in here. Mitchell Stevens, again, getting a big goal. Got the London Knights' first goal at the game here in this one. His 4th of the series. And then Yanni Kaukonen got another goal. He's had a great series as well. It's his 3rd goal. And then in the third period, the London Knights got goals from J.J. Pickenich, his first of the series. So the captain finally gets a go. And Robert Thomas. Robert Thomas is a great young player too. He gets 2 goals in the third period, including an empty net goal to ice the game. As London goes into Windsor and takes Game 6 by a score of 5-3 to force a 7th and deciding game in this series to be held at Budweiser Gardens. Shots on net were a big factor in favor of the Knights. The Knights actually got 44 shots on net in this game. They were all over Windsor. And if it hadn't been, especially in I think that second period, if it hadn't been for Michael DiPietro at the Windsor Spitfires, this game could have been a lot worse. But he kept them in it. 44-28 shots in favor of the London Knights. As the London Knights even up the series with the Spitfires at 3 apiece for a 7th and deciding game at Budweiser Gardens. So, wow. You got a 4th place team, 5th place team in the standings. The defending Memorial Cup champs, the London Knights, taking on this year's Memorial Cup hosts, and you get a 7th game in the series. London down, but not out. London was behind 3-1, but they come back to force a 7th game. So, wow, what more do you want from our first round series? Incredible. And, you know, the Windsor Spitfires and London Knights both desperately want to win this round. Only one is going to survive. So, without further ado, sorry, I'm back here, folks. I had to get my board here. Without further ado, everybody likes these magical words. Every kid dreams of it. Everybody wants to play in it. Game 7 of the Western Conference quarterfinals between the Windsor Spitfires and your London Knights. Let's see how this one goes down, shall we? And for this, I actually have got a couple of things, an extra couple of media things to make this entertaining. So, let me bring this up for you. This is going to be audio, not going to be video, so just bear with me as I bring this up. Game 7 between the London Knights and the Windsor Spitfires.
Off to the half boards, 20 remaining in the penalty to Windsor. In front, Jeff Stevens! Oh, and Militant couldn't poke it home. And yes, they do get a pad on it. Close call for the Knights. Well, the London Knights come very close on this play, as you can see. Goal in game 1 as well. Now Poole looking for a goal himself. Cranked it right off the crossbars out there as well. That and with that heavy shot, Jones, Solitaire! Leave it off! Anchor right in front of DiPietro, Van de Sapo down low, smoky pass, shot, score!
Jani Kaukonen on the power play gives the Knights the first goal of the game.
Size is certainly a dominant feature of their hockey team. Oh, the Tents in front of the net. Through the center and across the line goes Brown on for his man Addison. A quick shot. He was going that lower court. Halfway through this hockey game now. Here's Chardet. Shot. Parsons dropped him. And Susan. Of course, Jones been up against Sergachev. Now McDonald. Jones scores. 2-0.
Max Jones crashes into the net and gets the London Knights a second goal. 2-0 Knights.
Here's Sean Day bulldozing his way through. Shot in front. As down and Brocco back the other way.
2-0 after 2 periods of play, by the way, for the London Knights. Now we go on to the third. Jeremy Brocco early in the third gets a goal. It's 2-1 Knights.
On the dime, he'll look for Natton and Sean Day strokes it forward. Luchuk scores! What a play by Luchuk! And it's tied up.
And then Windsor gets another one. Luchuk to tie the game at 2 in the third.
Remaining in the power play. Catching it is Mete. Yolevi shoots. He scores!
Yolevi on the power play in the third period puts the Knights back ahead 3-2.
Back to the line. Day shoots. Oh, save! Unbelievable save. Over along the board. Hard shot. Here's Victor Mete. Take it on. They played a tremendous series. The London Knights better than Windsor Spitfires. This is how rivalries are built right here.
So there you have it. Game 7, a very entertaining game, decided by 1 goal again. And it went to the good guys as the London Knights win Game 7 3-2 to win the series in 7 games over the Windsor Spitfires. Come back from a 3-1 deficit to do it. And most importantly, the Memorial Cup hosts are done. Get knocked out in the first round by the London Knights. So Windsor has a lot of time off, like I think over 40 days off now before the Memorial Cup. So, you know, and proposes a challenge to the coaching staff, obviously, and to Windsor. But you know what? It's happened before, and I'm not. I think it's only happened 2 other times before where the Memorial Cup hosts have been knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. Well, it happened again this year. But, you know, full props to both teams. Windsor and London both played great games. Not much between the two teams. And London was just good enough to win this series. A lot of 1-goal games and very close series, no doubt. But the London Knights get her done as they defeat the Windsor Spitfires 3-2 to win the series in 7 games over them. And move on to round 2. Now, what I'm going to do quickly as well is give you the Mike Stubbs, okay? I love Mike Stubbs on the radio. So, Mike Stubbs, this is how he described Game 7. Robert Thomas sets up Yanni Kalkinen on a power play. 1-0 Knights. Max Jones goes hard to the net and scores on a feed from Owen McDonald. 2-0 London. And then the winning goal by Mike Stubbs. Went a little something like this. Ole Jalevi snaps a shot off the post and in. 3-2 Knights with 7:11 to go in the third period. And then the London Knights beat the Windsor Spitfires 3-2 to win their best of 7 first round series in 7 games. So, you know what we have to do, because what a great win by the London Knights. What a great comeback. Down 3-1, never give up. That heart of a champion. And I think Windsor found out why they are the champions, because they got that heart of a champion. They managed to come back from the dead to win this series and move on to round 2. So this has played a lot of Knights games, and we have to play it here now too, I think.
That
was awesome.
Sorry about your car, man.
Yes, off the movie Tommy Boy, that was awesome as the London Knights defeat the Windsor Spitfires and move on to round 2. Now, what does that mean for London? In round 2, who are they playing? Well, they're playing a very familiar foe. Third straight year in a row that the London Knights are going to face the Erie Otters. Okay, so Erie Otters are first overall. They were first in the conference. First for a reason. They got a very good team over there in Erie. And 4 straight 50-win seasons for that team. That's a CHL record. And you have to think, obviously you want London to win, but you have to think that the law of averages will be on Erie's side at some point, and that they're going to win the OHL finally. And obviously that's what they're shooting for. I know up in Erie, nothing less than an OHL title will be satisfactory for that club this year. Losing about 12 players off that team this year, so one would think Erie will not be up at that level quite as high next year. This is it for them. This is their last kick at the can, kind of. So London will face Erie in the second round of the playoffs with the first 2 games in Erie. In a best-of-7 series. Now, last year, they played them in the conference finals, and as you might recall, London swept them. That was a big shock. A lot of people figured that would be a very long series, 2 very evenly matched teams, but London just swept them right out. And actually, the year before, Erie had Connor McDavid on the team, and they met in the second round, and Erie swept London out. So, last 2 matchups have been sweeps. Will this year be a sweep? I don't know. We'll have to, definitely I don't see the Knights sweeping Erie. Knights are a little bit hot now coming off that series, so I'm not sure if Erie will sweep London either. But we are going to see what this series, what happens in this series. But both teams are good teams, only separated by 4 points. So we'll see what happens. But Erie has definitely got a lot of scoring on their team, and London is going to have to do a very good job of containing that scoring to have a chance in this series, I would think. So let's go to the other series as well. I want to give you an update on the other series. We wrapped up the London-Windsor first round series. How did the other ones end up? Well, I already told you last week all the other Western Conference finals are wrapped up. Owen Sound will be playing Sioux in the second round, and Erie will be matching up with our London Knights. Over in the Eastern Conference, told you the Petes were already through. 3 other series still going on in that conference last week. That are all done now. The Mississauga Ice Dogs did eliminate the Ottawa 67s in 6 games, so they move on. Mississauga, you got to remember, I predicted them as my Eastern Conference champions, so I predict them to be in the OHL finals, so they've moved on to round 2. Oshawa and Sudbury. Oshawa eliminated Sudbury in 6 games, and not a surprise, but I did kind of pick Sudbury to have that upset kind of character on them, but no such go. No upset. Oshawa took care of them in 6. And 6 was a magic number out there because, actually not 6, we had a 7-game series out there in the other series, just like this one. The 4th place team versus 5th place team. In this case, it was Kingston versus Hamilton. That went to a 7th game as well, just like our 4th, 5th place series. And I picked the Bulldogs to win that series, but they did not. Kingston won Game 7 3-2, just like our Game 7, ironically, but theirs went to overtime. So Kingston moved on and eliminated Hamilton. So our matchups are all set in the second round over there as well. The Peterborough Petes will be taking on the Kingston Frontenacs in the second round, and Oshawa is pairing off with the Mississauga Steelheads. So those are your series in the East. So, if you look at my first round matchups, I didn't exactly nail them. I went 5 for 8 because I did predict Flint to upset Sioux. I predicted Sudbury to upset Oshawa, and I predicted Hamilton over Kingston. So 5 for 8 in my series. Second round now. I can't go back on my original predictions, so I still think in the second round Mississauga is going to prevail over Oshawa. Pete's will prevail over Kingston, just like I predicted earlier on. Those two teams are going to meet in the finals. Erie, I'm predicting them to win over the Knights. I would like the Knights to win, but I think Erie, I think this is their year, so I think they're going to beat the Knights. And then Owen Sound and Sault Ste. Marie, I'm predicting Owen Sound in that series. So we'll see what happens. Now, what I want to do, something special, a couple of special things to end this show with. This is courtesy, this is a Knight's new song, and I hope I'm not going to get in trouble for copyright issues, because it was put together with a lot of commentary by Mike Stubbs. So it's a very cool song. It's called Battle Ready. So as we take on Erie in the next round, this is our battle cry. Battle ready. Are we battle ready to dig into the trenches with the Erie Otters for a third straight year and try to beat them for a second straight year? Battle ready. Are we ready, London? All right, let's find out. And here we go. As I said, courtesy of AM 980, Mike Stubbs, and Bob Notches. This is Battle Ready. Here we go.
Sold out crowd, Budweiser Gardens, playoffs in the air, your London Knights. You can feel the electricity in the House of Green. Everyone is rocking in this room. Look out here, Victor Mesa in the penalty box, back in the pocket, and we'll make it more! What speed! McDonough shot, Moody scores! Liam Moody on the rebound! His first goal of the OHL! Here we come, battle ready! Everyone will remember our name. Here we come, so be ready! It's in our blood, and we love this game. Thomas beats the pass and Pickett shoots, score! J.J. Pickett across the blue line, right-handed shot, in on goal, deep, shoots, score! And the London Knights have ended the Owen Sound attack winning streak. Here we come, battle ready. Everyone will remember our name. Here we come, so be ready. It's in our blood, and we love this game, London. Looking for it. Now we've got a fight. Foodie of the Knights. And Damiani of Kitchener, and Foodie is landing right after right. Liam Foodie. How's that for your first OHL fight? Wow. Here we come, battle ready. Everyone will remember our name. Here we come, so be ready. It's in our blood, and we love this game. Here they come. Here we come, battle ready. Out in front, making it to Militant, scores! Sam Militant, Teddy Man raiding from everywhere. It's in our blood, and we love this game, London. Anderson up right into the Knights bench. Right into the Knights bench by Brandon Crawley. That will be the hit of the game. Here we come. Well, that might be the hit of the year. Here we come, and we love this game.
All right, so there you go. Battle ready. Are the Knights battle ready? We're going to find out as they start the second round series against the Erie Otters. So next week on Knights This Week, we're going to be getting you caught up on that series. Probably 4 games to catch up on with that one. So we're going to get to that next week. Now, what I like to do at the end of every Knights This Week, obviously, as you know, is I like to do the Knights Dance. So here we go. We're going to do the Knights Dance as well to finish this Knights This Week. So, Let me just bring it up here, and here we go. So go Knights, go! Defend the throne! And we'll see you next week on Knights This Week as we get you caught up on the Knights and the Otters' latest clash. Okay? So see you next week on Knights This Week.